Hi, it's Liz. Today we are going to start a series of using the Janome Memory Craft 500E. So we're going to be doing a come embroider with me. So we're going to use the embroider files that are on the machine, and that we are going to be walking through the steps together so that you are able to use your embroidery machine and feel a bit more confident, and I'll walk you through the steps to my best ability. So before you go to the machine, you are going to need some things. You're going to need a piece of fabric. Try to use a scrap piece of fabric, and let's use something that doesn't have stretch to it. It's going to make it a lot easier. So I'm using a piece of cotton canvas. And we're going to use the smallest hoop because we're just practicing right at this point. So this is your hoop. It's SQ14B. It's going to be your smallest hoop size. You're going to have the back piece and the front piece. And it does have this little turn at the top. And so you're going to be tightening that once your stabilizer and your fabric are in there. So you're also going to need stabilizer. So you're going to need cutaway or tearaway for this project. And what you're going to do is just take the top piece. I just put this over like that. And you want to have some room on both sides because you're going to put this tearaway stabilizer or cutaway in between the two hoops to secure it down. So you're going to put the tearaway, you're going to put your stabilizer in between the front hoop and the back hoop. Right now though, we still need the piece of fabric, so let's go ahead and you can cut it the similar size to your stabilizer. You want to have some room around so it can clamp down. So I've been getting into the habit of hooping it up with this piece. So this is what hooks into the machine on the right hand side. So I just been getting to that habit, especially if it's like a directional piece of fabric. You don't want to be hooping up to this side thinking that's how it's going to go into the machine. So it's always going to go into that side. Then you're going to be putting your tearaway or cutaway stabilizer. What's the difference between them is that once the fabric and all the embroidery is on there, I can tear this away, where the other one, it has a lot more structure to it, so you're going to have to cut it away. So it does kind of leave a white edge. It also comes in black as well. So we got our one piece of tearaway stabilizer, and we're going to put the piece of fabric over top. And then you can give it a press, but we're just practicing. And then we're going to put the top piece over top. Now you're going to want to press it in, and this was really difficult for me when I first started because it is a combination of putting pressure on different sides and just like making sure it's not going to pop out. So I just make sure all my corners are in. If you have a really thick piece of fabric, that is going to make a difference as well, and you're aiming to have it pretty tight. So I can look at the back and see if there's any bubbles or any bubbles at the front. So you can tell it has still some crinkles and stuff, so should have given it a little bit of a press, because the more flat, the more you're less likely to have thread breaks for things bouncing around. If you do have a stretchy fabric, you're going to have to use cutaway. So I was listening on YouTube, and if it's like a really stretchy material, if you're going to be using down the line, you can actually use two pieces of cutaway and then the material just to make sure it's stable. All right, so from there, we're just going to put it aside. So this is the machine. We're going to thread it. So usually you have your thread up here. It comes and you just follow the directions that are at the top here. So you're going to come around from the back and you're going to go over and under, around here, follow the 3. You're going to follow it up there, down to the 5, back, and then you're going to go through your needle. So it's really important to use a Janome embroidery needle. They come in purple tips and red tips. I'm using the one in purple because majority of my work right now I'm using a temporary adhesive spray because I've been using a lot of felt. So if you have bought the red tip, because this is just practice, that is perfectly fine. Make sure once you put in the needle that you screw the needle in, because these are going at very, very high speeds. So this is the bobbin, and you're just going to press it to the right to open, and it just comes up like that. You can have a look in your manual. So you put your bobbin in, and then you thread it, and you follow the 1, 2, and the 2 actually cuts it. So you don't see your bobbin thread. You put it back on, make sure the case is back on so it does not get caught. So the thread I use is Glide embroidery thread. So this would be the typical size that you use. It's 1,000 meters. I've been using the 5,000 meters, and it's just hooked up here. But normally your thread would be up here. So if that looks different, it's because that's why. There is also an attachment that you can add a second one of these. So once you add more colors to your project, you don't have to keep on putting your thread away when you change it. So this is our screen that we are at. We are having the sunflower icon, so that's going to be any embellishments that are already in the machine. We have the font icon, and we also have our sizes. So what we're going to do is first take the stylizer that's on the right side of the machine, and you can just feel it right there on the side and pop it out. We're going to go to the grid, and we're just going to touch it. Now at the very top it says SQ20B, but so that's the 200 by 200 meters. We're not going to be using that one. We're going to be using the 140. So what we want to do is come to this button. We're going to press that one, and the very top one is what we're going to need. So we press that. Now it's telling us at the very top it's an SQ14B, 140 by 140 millimeters. So that is exactly what we want. All right, so now we're going to need a design. So what we're going to do is come back up to here and press the home button. So on the right side here, we have home, file, set, question mark, and lock. So we want to press the very top one, which is home. So now we are back to these options. So let's choose an embellishment for this. So we're going to click on the sunflower. So we have a couple different options that's available for this hoop side. So it's saying SQ14B. So these are the options. We can toggle at the bottom. It says page 1 of 3. So we can press the button till we find something that we like. There's not too much on page number 3. So we're going to start with really simple. It's just going to be one color. So we're going to choose the flower, which is number 6. And now that has taken us back to the grid page. So now we can position this flower. So we just go down to these buttons here to move it. We can move it up, or we can move it down, or in a corner. And we just have to hold it down, and we can move it up. So that looks pretty nice and simple. So next, let's hit this next button. We're going to hit it again and again. So when you come and you see these hearts, so it has hearts at the top and hearts at the bottom, we're just going to hit it and it's going to mirror the image. So now we have 4 of them. So this is really great because this doesn't have much of a directional pattern to them. So if you had something that, like a person with their hand up waving, these 2 would be one direction, and then these ones would be the opposite because they are mirrored. So it's like when you look in a mirror. So we have that, and we can go ahead and press OK if we like the design. If we don't like, say, this flower, we can go back to these arrows and we can trash it. So I've selected this one, I've touched it. It's highlighted in green, a very faint border, and we're going to find the trash can. So let's just trash that one. and you can select any of them, but that one we're gonna trash. Now we're gonna add one more simple design. So we're gonna go back up to the home page. We're gonna go back up to the sunflower. We are going to choose the butterfly, number 4. And the butterfly has now been added to our page. So I'm gonna come down here, butterfly is selected, and I'm gonna put that butterfly in the corner. So another thing to remember when you add designs is whatever order you added the item is the way that it's going to be stitched out. So I added this one first, and then it added these two after. So it will go in that order, or maybe it'll go this order. I'm not too sure what happens when it mirrors the image. We'll just have to find out. And then I added the butterfly last. The butterfly will be the last thing to be stitched out. So because we mirrored the images, they are all going to run without stopping. So if we can't change the color. So this one will run, this one will run, then this one, then it'll stop, and then you can change the color for the butterfly. If you are feeling ambitious, you can select the flower, hit the trash can. Select the flower, hit the trash can. We're gonna go back up to home, hit the sunflower, find the number 6, move it over and down. It's gonna register it that it is a separate file. Back to home, hit the sunflower, number 6. So now actually I have done it in a different order. So if I ran this, it would go this flower, then it'll stop, this flower, then it'll stop, go up to this flower, then stop, and then the butterfly. So that's if you're ambitious. You can totally not do that one. You can just do the mirrored image, and that's fine. So if you're back feeling like that's too overwhelming, just delete those. Find your mirrored image. Remember the hearts. So you're gonna click on the hearts, and it's just gonna go over top of that butterfly, but you can just still select that one and delete it. So now we're back to those mirrored images that have been centered, and we're gonna run that. But just depends on your preference of what you feel like. So because I mirrored those images, it's all going to run this one, this one, this one. Stops, butterfly. So let's go ahead and stitch this out. We're gonna press OK down here. And it's gonna tell us what hoop size we need. We're gonna press OK. And you can see down here, it has our hoop size, how big it's going to be inside, the speed. Our tension is going to be always automatic unless you get more advanced. Our colors are going to be 2 colors, and the estimated time, computer time, is 9 minutes. So that doesn't include the stopping process and if you were changing out any of the colors. We are just going to keep it very, very simple. You can see the recommended colors down here at 202 JSP and then 203 JSP. You can see down here that it's going to be 5,376 stitches. So what we're going to do is take our hoop that has been with the stabilizer and the fabric. Your arm is probably over here. The arm is automatic, so you don't have to worry about it. It's only here because I just stitched something and it hasn't reset yet. So you never hold on to it, it goes back and forth, and that's what it moves to embroider. So it does everything automatically. So you're gonna line up these 2 knobs and press, you see this? So when you press this down, it opens up these 2 areas, and then when you press it back up. So we're gonna press this down, put it into our machines to these 2 hooks, and then let it go. So the main thing is to get it underneath the needle, and then you're gonna press it towards you, push it in, and then let it go. So now it should be really sturdy on there. And we are going to put the presser foot down. So at the back of your machine, the presser foot goes down. So the stop and start button is going to be your friend. Just make sure if you want to stop it at any point, you press stop and just keep your hands away from it, because sometimes it doesn't stop right away. You kind of just need to wait, especially if the machine is having a problem. So just if you're feeling like you need to pause or anything, make sure you hit that stop and start button. So now we have the green button here. We're going to start. We're going to press it. And it's going to move it automatically. So our 3 flowers have been embroidered. If yours are still running, you can pause this. So it says to raise my presser foot so the butterfly can be done. So you just go to the back, you raise it, you put it down, that message goes away. If I wanted to change the color of the butterfly, I could at this point, and you just re-thread the top. So all you have to do is press the start button and it continues. So it has been completed. We're going to raise our presser foot. If yours is not completed, you can pause it. So it does have the automatic thread cutter. I always forget about that. So if you're starting to feel a bit more confident, keep this on the machine. Check out my next video, because we're going to add text in the middle here. We're going to use that same design so we know where the placements are, and we're going to add some text. So check out that next video. So this will be on a playlist, so make sure you check out the other Janome embroidery videos. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that has been helpful. Leave me any comments, questions that you have further, and then I will try to address them in future videos. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.